There seems to be a mistake in account balances for the customers. Account system. It was a core system that dealt with customers' transactions. In a stock brokerage company, it was the one responsible for buying and selling stocks. It was linked to the system Woosung's project was working on. Pages that customers saw while making transactions, for example the online homepage, HTS, and call center. It was HTS that was responsible for showing the account balance. And showing the wrong balance to the customers was something that should never happen. Field supervisors. Nuri Finance's outsourced software development to Daysan system. Field supervisors were people from Nuri Finance's familiar with this program and managed communications with Daysan system. Woosung's field supervisor was assistant manager Kwok Jungwook who specialized in HTS. 5 staffs including Kwok Jungwook stared at the computer screen. Build started, project, Nuri HTS, configuration, debug. Win32. Compiling. Linking. Embedding manifest. Unit test start. By limit order stock trading test OK. By market order stock trading test OK. Sell limit order stock trading test OK. Sell market order stock trading test OK. Stochastic day chart test OK. Stochastic month chart test OK. Stochastic year chart test OK. 100% passed. Complete. Looking at the word complete, Woosung told Kwok Jungwook. Test has completed 100%. This means that there is nothing wrong on the HTS side. Kwok Jungwook asked Yoon Gwon. What do you think, General Manager? Can we trust this? Yoon Gwon looked at Woosung. I think I should check it myself. Hey newbie, show me the codes. Woosung stood up calmly and replied. Have a seat and take your time. Yoon Gwon sat down and checked through the codes hurriedly. 20 minutes later. Kwok Jungwook asked again impatiently. General Manager. The account balance is incorrect. If the problem is from the HTS side, this is going to be serious. Yoon Gwon didn't even blink once. He kept staring at the monitor. Daysan system may have to pay the penalty and lose this project. Kwok Jungwook continued to emphasize the gravity of this situation, but Yoon Gwon knew this already. A problem with the account system meant that this could be the end of Nuri Finances. After 5 more minutes on the computer, Yoon Gwon opened his mouth. I don't think you need to worry. Are you saying that there is nothing wrong with HTS? Yoon Gwon nodded. Kwok Jungwook sighed deeply. Phew. Well, I guess we can relax if the problem is not from our end. But how did this happen? How could there be a mistake in account balance? We don't know yet. Several customers contacted us complaining about the wrong balances. When we checked, we found out that all the other customers' balances were also incorrect. We don't know the exact cause yet. Yoon Gwon frowned. If the problem doesn't get fixed soon, customers won't be able to use the HTS tomorrow for stock trading. If this persists, it's going to get bloody. The headquarters would start an investigation to find whoever was responsible for this error. The accountable developers would lose their jobs and possibly be reprimanded further. If the existing customers lost money by not being able to trade, the situation would become impossible to fix. The company may have to reimburse the customers' losses. This worried Yoon Gwon a lot. Kwok Jungwook couldn't hide his worries either. If the customers sue. Kwok Jungwook couldn't even finish the sentence. He swallowed hard. Park Junwoo and Kim Yong-gun stood rigidly. The other developers in the office looked as perplexed as them. A palpable tension filled the room. Then, Woosung spoke. Oh, I thought something looked strange. Everyone turned their heads towards him at the same time. What is? What are you talking about? What? You need to explain right now. Everyone including Yoon Gwon, Park Junwoo, Kim Yong-gun, and Kwok Jungwook, all asked at the same time. I didn't have the clearance to access the DB database, so I couldn't connect to it, but I noticed something wrong with the stored procedure in the test DB. Yoon Gi-won prompted Woosung impatiently. Stop stalling and just spit it out. Woosung looked at Kwok Jungwook mysteriously. If we can fix this problem, does this mean that Nuri finances will feel favorable towards Daesan system? Kwok Jungwook replied quickly. Are you kidding? I wouldn't be surprised if the headquarter will give you the account system contract. Another company outsourced the account system at the moment. The main partnering corporation, Daeyang System, hired the company called ST for the account system and Daesan for the channel system. Nuri Finances was in partnership with Daeyang as a secondary company. All right. I will tell you as soon as I check this out. Woosung started Toad, which was a program to access the DB. He then connected to the Oracle database and searched the Oracle, which was a table of the scheduling program list provided by DBMS. If you look here, at around 3:05 p.m. a batch program was executed, which is the market closing time. OP_batch_customer_trading_break_down. This was the name of the batch program. He pointed at the 256th line. Do you see the line that says try catch? Everyone nodded. This checks customers' daily transactions and end-of-the-day balances. It compares the numbers and confirms that everything adds up correctly. Yoon Gi-won asked abruptly. Well, of course, it should do that. Data coherency is very important. I agree. But what if it is not working correctly? Kwok Jungwook's eyes widened. What? When the errors from the server don't get processed, how do you think this procedure react to the inconsistency? Woosung said the problem came from the server side. Yoon Gi-won stood up angrily. Hey! How can you say that? Did you even look at the server codes? Kwok Jungwook also asked impatiently. Wait. Errors on the server side? Are you saying that there is a problem with the stock trading transaction? Woosung didn't answer the questions and continued to explain. To the catch line, it just processes it as exception and moves on. Everyone was now infuriated. They stopped listening to Woosung. Kwok Jungwook asked again irritably. Again, are you saying that the problems are occurring from the server side? Are you sure? Just tell me. Yoon Gi-won shrieked. You! Newbie! I took a quick look at the server codes on the SVN to help with developing HTS. How much would you pay for this kind of consultation? What? Well, I'm not saying I need to be paid, but I am responsible for only the HTS. If I work on the server, then that's outside of my contract. On top of that, this is a huge case. Wouldn't you prefer to pay and get it fixed ASAP? If you don't believe my explanation, check the relevant procedure. Finishing his explanation, Woosung left the room. 10 years ago, they had to hire several famous developers to fix this problem. They spent at least $100,000. I remember Manager Park being envious of those developers making the big bucks. All these things were in Woosung's memories. These were all the things he could use to make money. Yoon Gi-won followed Woosung hurriedly. When Woosung ignored him, he shouted desperately. Hey, newbie! Hey! You! I'm not going anywhere. Why are you chasing me? What did you mean? Server problem. And what money? We shouldn't work with them for free. You should contact our sales team and get them to bring us a contract. Are you serious? First sales team. Then contract. To Woosung's determined attitude, Yoon Gi-won became quiet. How could a young 26-year-old be so domineering? Yoon Gi-won wet his lips. I don't get him. At first, he thought of Woosung as a naive young pup. He was waiting to show him how the real world worked and train him. But Woosung was not what he expected. Perhaps a tiger? No, he was even beyond that. He was a flying dragon. Didn't you say yesterday you only finished 15% of the test code? So when did you have the time to finish it and check out the server codes? There is a saying in SI. Ask for a longer deadline than needed and embellish the result. That's why I said I needed more time. And my presentation only included the bare necessities. I had a lot of time left, so I looked at this and that. Are you serious? I know that you included only the main points in the presentation, but you have been working for only one day. How could you make a PPT, complete that many test codes, and also look at the server codes? Server codes were nothing special. Looking at the Oracle procedure was also easy. As for PPT, it was simple. Woosung stretched his arms and continued. A lot of unexplainable things happen in the world. I think I worked too hard today. I'm getting sleepy. I will take a quick walk to clear my head, so please have the contract ready. Oh. Also, remind everyone that our work hour ends at 6:30 p.m. Yoon Gi-won gasped but couldn't say a word. Strolling outside, Woosung drank a cup of coffee. Cold winter wind snapped him back to reality. He remembered what happened 10 years ago as if it all happened yesterday. It was a crazy time. Dae-young had to intervene and hire several famous developers to solve this problem. Woosung remembered that it took a week to fix. Not every customer's balances were showing up incorrect, so the trading service continued and they fixed any mistakes which follow. Manual rather than automatic. They spent countless hours trying to fix the balances. Even 2 months after they solved the problem, everyone had to be on call. It was like hell. I wonder if Yoon Gi-won is following my order. I hope he doesn't blow this chance. Woosung shivered. His ears were itchy, which meant that someone was talking about him. Go Young-jun, a member of Daesan Systems sales team, grumbled. You owe me big time, General Manager. I had to cancel an important meeting to come here for you. If this works out, it will be a huge deal. I expect it to be worth at least $440,000. $450,000. Go Young-jun wet his lips. Did you say $450,000? You need to explain. Nuri Finances is having a problem with their account system. Go Young-jun answered in shock. What? Did we screw up? No, thank God. Phew, you scared me. We will ask for $200,000 to fix the problem, and $250,000 for future consultations on this subject. Go Young-jun shook his head nervously. General Manager, account system is a dangerous territory. If we mess up, this destroys our company. You know this, right? This is our chance. If we don't take risks, we can never grow. So you're saying we will now dabble in the account system too? We can't always play it safe. And you remember where I used to work, right? Haha, I remember. So we'll fix this problem and offer a better system. And if our work satisfied them, we will take the account system contract and get paid to maintain. Yes. ST has this contract, but as you know, I have a history with Dae-young. We can steal the contract. This will be the beginning of us growing. Yoon Gi-won was ambitious. Account system was a core part of any finance companies, and getting involved in this field was not something everyone could do. Only the best of the best firms would win such contracts. This was their chance. Be ready for me. The field supervisor went to have a meeting with his headquarters. We'll find out soon. Yoon Gi-won called for Kim Yong-gun. Hey, where the hell is that newbie? Find him. Kim Yong-gun picked up his phone. When Woosung came back to the office and gave his opinion, Yoon Gi-won lost it. You are crazy. That's my condition. Take it or leave it. If I don't get this, then you can do the work yourself. Yoon Gi-won stood up in fury. Go Young-jun tried to convince Woosung. Woosung, this is very important to this company. If this works out well, then I'm sure our company will compensate you accordingly. Woosung stretched his neck and replied. I know, so I'm asking to be compensated now. Yoon Gwon exhaled unevenly. Go Young-jun was getting a headache. Park Jun-woo watched tensely nearby. This newbie was impressive. I want to be paid $50,000 for fixing the problem and another $50,000 for the future consulting. Total $100,000. I am not asking for an unreasonable amount. I'm the only one who found out about the batch procedure problem. Yoon Gwon stared angrily at Woosung. Go Young-jun remained silent. I am telling you that I can fix the problem all by myself by the end of the day. Do you still think it's unreasonable? The company will make an easy $200,000 and get a chance to get into the account system field. This is the least this company can invest for such an opportunity. Do you really think you can do this? What are you going to do if you can't fix it? I will sign a contract that says I will give up my salary for the next 5 years if I'm not successful. At that time, Kwak Jung-wook came back from the meeting with Daeyoung System. General Manager, Daeyoung is ready to offer you $150,000 if you can fix the problem. If you don't succeed, then you'll get nothing. The deadline is till tomorrow morning before the market opens. Woosung smiled. I need to tell you also that if I end up needing to work after 6:30 p.m., my hourly rate will be $1,000. It's 5 p.m. now. Yoon Gwon closed his eyes. Park Jun-woo and Kim Yong-gun remained silent. Kwak Jung-wook added. Oh, and as for the further consultation, if you can complete the task by midnight, they will accept it. Yoon Gwon replied slowly. So, you want us to prove ourselves first? He looked at Woosung. Woosung was sitting lazily and smiling. Yes. And also, if the problem fixes itself somehow, then the offer is off of course. Woosung pointed at the clock. It's now 5:10 p.m. Yoon Gwon looked at Go Young-jun. Manager Go, please prepare the contract. And you newbie, you better keep your word or else, you will never work in this field again. Manager Go, I will now have to work till midnight, so please include in the contract an additional $5,000 for the 5 hours of after-hours work. I will give you the first 30 minutes of work for free. Go Young-jun looked at Yoon Gwon for an approval. Yoon Gwon glared at Woosung and nodded. Fine. Woosung cracked his knuckles and placed his hands on the keyboard. I don't care if the company is getting paid only $150,000. I still need to be paid in full. You will also need to find a notary and a lawyer for the contract. I trust that you will take care of it, so I will start working. Yoon Gwon gave out a defeated sigh. Woosung focused on debugging as he ate a burger for his dinner. Park Jun-woo and Kim Yong-gun assisted him while Yoon Gwon remained nearby. Woosung thought about his situation. $55,000 for tonight's work. If the consultation project works out, then another $50,000. Total $105,000. Not bad. The room was tense, but Woosung could remain relaxed because the modifications he had to make for this problem was easy. The problem was something that either one could recognize right away or never understand at all. Luckily, Woosung already knew the answer since he remembered it from the past. First, I need to pay back my student loan. I'll give $20,000 to my parents and I will save the rest for future cryptocurrency mining. If I get a chance, I should also buy stocks when the financial crisis happens. He filled his head with plans for his money. Because he wasn't paying attention to the work, his typing slowed down. Yoon Gwon noticed this and whispered to Woosung angrily. Hey, do you realize how many people are watching you? You better do a good job, got it? It wasn't just the Daesan staffs that were waiting for him. People also came from ST Data System and Daeyoung System to monitor him. Woosung asked the crowd. Is there anyone who works with the server here? I need someone to look at the updates on the transaction fees and balances with me. A well-dressed man stepped forward. The server developer is working on debugging. I am the PM from the server department. My name is Kwon Hyunjian. PM. It was an acronym for Project Manager. PMs managed deadlines, staff schedules, and communications with other companies. Oh. PM Kwon. It was a familiar face. After Deezen's one-year contract with Nuri Finances ended, Kwon Hyunjian thought highly of Woosung and offered a job at ST Data System. ST was slightly bigger than Daesan and offered a higher salary, so Woosung took the offer and spent 6 years at St. Is there a problem with the updates? After they complete the transactions, it should update balances after the fees, right? Kwon Hyunjian nodded. And there are 2 different fee rates? Kwon Hyunjian nodded again. Everyone listened to Woosung in fascination. To customers who pay the monthly subscription fee of $13, the transaction fee is 0.00811%. If you don't pay the monthly fee, the rate is 0.011%. Woosung gave a pragmatic explanation. This is how the program should work. It completes a transaction. Based on the customer's profile, the transaction fee is calculated. The fee gets deducted, and the balance gets updated. Right? Woosung didn't wait for an answer but pointed at the Visual Studio program on the monitor. Here is the implemented code on the server. It starts from the 452nd line of stocktrade.cpp file. On the 512th line is where it determines the transaction fee rate. I will now try to bring up that function. Result value, 0.011. Result value, 0.011. Same numbers kept appearing on the screen. As Woosung remained silent, Yoon Gye-won became impatient and shouted. Hey! He then realized that there was an audience, so he added quietly. You need to explain. Transaction fee rate. It applies the same value to every customer. Kwon Hyunjian quickly denied it. That can't be. I checked the DB value. Kwok Jung-wook looked at Kwon Hyunjian and asked. Are you sure you confirmed it? Kwon Hyunjian answered uncertainly. I am sure I checked it, but I will check it again. He picked up his phone. Yoon Gye-won looked at Woosung and swallowed. Did Woosung get it right? Woosung continued with a smile. There is no need to call. That value isn't being used by the codes, anyway. What? If you look here, the value in const format ends up being used. Wrong transaction fee rate is being called up. Constant was a type qualifier that defined the constant values. This meant instead of bringing up the correct rate from the database, a value was hard-coded. Every time it needs the correct rate to determine, the program was changing the code and restarting the server. Kwon Hyunjian, who was making a call, looked at Woosung's monitor. Other developers nearby also stared at the computer to confirm. Const double general fee equals 0.011. Const double special fee equals 0.011. Woosung was right. Kwon Hyunjian whispered. How could this? He couldn't believe it, so he kept rubbing his eyes. But it was true. Kwok Jung-wook asked irritably. Stop standing around and call the server developer to check the code. Run the test. This is such a stupid mistake, he's usually so thorough. Kwon Hyunjian still couldn't believe it. But the codes from SVN was definitely from his company. There was no excuse. Woosung said to Kwon Hyunjian. Your developer could have missed it while running a test, or a freelance developer may have made the mistake. If you fix this and the batch procedure I mentioned earlier, everything will work normally. Kwon Hyunjian left in shock. Woosung looked at Kwok Jung-wook. If you accept my consultation regarding the change in the development process, something like this would never happen. It would be beneficial to apply my idea ASAP. The longer you wait, the more complicated the codes will become. Maintaining such a system would be costly. The other developers realized that he had solved the problem. They left one by one. Woosung looked at his watch. 10 p.m. He could check the codes and run the tests by midnight. He asked Yoon Gwon. I think I can do it by midnight. Make sure you don't forget my $55,000, okay? You. Yes. What are you? Somebody asked me that before. Obviously, I am a newly hired developer at Daesan System. Now what you need to do is prepare for the consultation presentation for Nuri Finances. We showed them what we can do tonight, but we still have a long way to go to convince them. Don't forget that my additional $50,000 depends on this. Yoon Gwon's eyes widened as he remained speechless. They deposited the payment for fixing the server to his account the very next day. Yoon Gwon was a quick-tempered bully, but he did his job well. Woosung first paid back his student loan and gave $20,000 to his parents. Use this to pay back part of the mortgage loan. Their current house was $62,000 and $35,000 of it was a loan. Woosung, what is this? Kim Eun-young trembled as Woosung showed her the check. My company paid me a bonus for a big job I completed. Kang Gichin was in shock. You just started working there. This doesn't make sense. I'm telling the truth. I did nothing illegal for it, so don't worry. You guys did so much for me and now it's my turn. They still seemed wary. Woosung added quickly. It's actually the money I saved since university from part-time job. Trust me. How about your student loan? I paid it back, so stop worrying about it. Even after Woosung explained, Kim Eun-young couldn't bring herself to accept it. Woosung put the check in her hand. Son. Woosung could feel that his parents felt apologetic to him. He could see that things were about to get emotional. He stood up and walked towards the front door. I need to get to work, so I'll see you later. He didn't want to see his mother cry. Woosung left quickly. As soon as Woosung arrived, Park Jun-woo greeted him. Hello, Woosung. Kim Yonghyun treated Woosung similarly. They greeted him first before he did. Even Yoon Gwon, who was already at work, greeted him. Hey, newbie. Hello. I received the payment. Your personality isn't great, but you do your job well. Yoon Gwon closed his eyes. Woosung just insulted him, but he needed to remain calm. I told the headquarters that we need you. I also asked to promote you to assistant manager ASAP. You worked hard for me. And as for your consultation presentation, Nuri Finances asked us to arrange another meeting. They asked us to make sure to bring you. Woosung sat down in his chair and replied. It's my job, so of course I'll go. Oh, and I want the consulting team to include Manager Park and Assistant Manager Kim. We will also continue to maintain HTS. The headquarters promised to send some talented developers. Park Jun-woo. Kim Yong-gun. 10 years ago, they helped him to grow in Daesan System. This was his chance to repay them. I don't need talented people. I need people I can trust. I won't do it if I don't have Manager Park and Assistant Manager Kim. Gosh, do you always have to get your way? I must be learning from you, General Manager. What? You have a horrible personality, but the company is keeping you because of your skills. Both Park Jun-woo and Kim Yong-gun nodded in agreement. Yoon Gwon reddened. You. Park Jun-woo watched nervously. He was worried about Yoon Gwon losing his temper, but strangely, nothing happened. Yoon Gwon is always condescending to me, but he can't win an argument against a newbie. It was strange to see haughty Yoon Gwon like this. I'm busy. Let's get to work. Fine. Just make sure your presentation is perfect. You need to prepare a proposal as well. You are getting paid $50,000, so you should do all the work. Haha, of course. Woosung sat down and began. Yoon Gyewan left in mad fury but didn't say another word. Lunch time. Woosung stood up to go for lunch when guests arrived for him. ST Data Systems Kwon Hyunjian was here with another familiar face. Hello. I'm sorry that I came by without an appointment but... Oh, why are you here? I was so thankful for your work yesterday, I wanted to buy you lunch. The developer next to him frowned. I told you I would have fixed it myself. Fine. Let's just go for lunch. Woosung looked at Yoon Gyewan. It was uncomfortable to meet with people from a competing company. When did you ever worry about what I think? Okay. Then I will have lunch with my guests. Woosung was happy to see Kwon Hyunjian. Park Junwoo and Kim Yong-gun were his friends from Daesan, while Kwon Hyunjian was the one who gave him the opportunity to work at St. Woosung laughed. Let's go. By the way, I like sushi. To his friendliness, Kwon Hyunjian laughed as well. I was worried about what we should eat. That sounds good. The three arrived at a Japanese restaurant nearby. They ordered expensive sushi dishes. Woosung's mouth watered. Kwon Hyunjian lifted his chopsticks. Let's eat. Are you sure it's okay for you to buy such an expensive meal? Of course. Oh, and this is the server development PL, project leader, Nam Kyung-sang. Kwon Hyunjian introduced the man next to him. Nam Kyung-sang. Woosung knew him. How could he forget? Because of this man, Nuri Finances lost its confidence in the developers of HTS at Daesan. They had to work late nights for a year because of him. Manager Nam, nice to see you. It has been a long time. Kwon Hyunjian and Nam Kyung-sang looked at him strangely. Woosung added quickly. Oh. I think we've met before at the office. It's nice to see you. Nam Kyung-sang replied rudely. Really? I've never met you before. Oh, well. Perhaps you don't remember me, but I never forget a face. Kwon Hyunjian didn't want this conversation to get any more uncomfortable so he joined in. Woosung must have a good memory. And he is also very skilled. He was able to fix the server problem so easily. Manager, I told you that I could fix it myself. I was almost done fixing it when this guy swooped in. Oh. Haha. Of course. I'm getting old. I keep forgetting things. Did you have anything you would like to ask Woosung? I already know everything, so there is nothing to ask. Woosung looked at Nam Kyung-sang unkindly. He had such a big ego. 10 years ago, he blamed us for the problem. While Woosung was deep in his thoughts, Kwon Hyunjian continued. Of course I believe you. But don't you think it would be helpful to us if we know how Woosung fixed the problem? Nam Kyung-sang refused to budge. Nobody knows server codes better than I do. There was no way to convince him. Kwon Hyunjian gave up and looked at Woosung. Let's eat. Woosung picked up his chopsticks. It was an awkward lunch. If he has something to say, he should just say it. Why is he looking at me like that? Nam Kyung-sang didn't say a word and kept glancing at Woosung. Kwon Hyunjian noticed how uncomfortable Woosung was, so he asked. You seem so young. How are you so good at your job already? I studied hard and learned the new techniques from the internet. Wow, you make it sound so easy. But not everyone can become skillful like you, Woosung. Kwon Hyunjian complimented Woosung. Nam Kyung-sang didn't like this, so he added maliciously. I'm like that too. Haha, of course. You can learn so much on the internet, especially from stackoverflow.com. One of the world's biggest website for programming information. Kwon Hyunjian has never heard of this website before. Stack Overflow. Manager Nam, do you know this site too? Nam Kyung-sang stuttered. Well of course. I've looked at it a few times. There is a lot of information there. Stack Overflow. Some IT companies required applicants to include information from this website on their cover letters. It was a very famous site, so if Nam Kyung-sang didn't know about it, that could mean only one thing. It must not be available yet. No one has created the website yet. Now that Woosung thought about it, he didn't remember visiting this site in 2008. This was a second mistake he made today. I need to be careful of what I say. As Woosung remained silent, Kwon Hyunjin added. I can see why you are so good at your job. After lunch, I will go back to the office and look this website up. Woosung laughed awkwardly. Oh, haha. It's nothing. There is no need. A programmer should never stop learning. You always need to learn the newest techniques. Nam Kyung-sang added competitively. Especially if you are a C++ programmer, you need to visit MSDN, Microsoft Developer Network, often. Right? Then suddenly, Kwon Hyunjin's phone vibrated. After apologizing, he answered the phone. His face darkened. Oh, I'm so sorry but I need to get back to work. It's okay. I'm full anyway. Manager Nam, are you sure you don't need Woosung's help? No. I've been doing this for 7 years. Fine. Let's go. Kwon Hyunjin seemed nervous. Woosung watched him worriedly. Now that the gates to hell closed, they must discuss how to prevent such situations in the future. If I remember correctly, they came up with a point system. Woosung could guess why Kwon Hyunjin was getting worried. 10 people sat around the table in the conference room. Woosung was showing off his presentation skill in front of the big screen. This is a step-by-step method that can decrease your IT cost. We can apply the changes to our system first to see how effective it is. You can then decide whether you want to use it for your system. Yoon Gi-won sat with his arms crossed while Park Jun-woo nodded. Not only is he great at programming and paperwork, but he is also awesome at presentation. There were many important people in the room. HTS Department Manager Kwak Jung-wook and IT Department Leader from Nuri Finances and representatives from Daeyoung System were all watching. Despite the pressure, the newbie didn't seem nervous at all. He continued his presentation without hesitation. How could a new graduate be that confident? Yoon Gi-won's ears were turning red. This happened when he was in a good mood. This meant that he was happy about how things were going. He can't be real. Woosung was like a utility player in soccer. He was great at all positions including forward, defense, and goalkeeping. Kwak Jung-wook asked during the presentation. You say your idea will decrease the number of VOC and speed up the development of prototypes, right? If it works as you promise, then obviously we will accept your proposal. But I'm wondering if it sounds too good to be true. I expect that the number of VOC will decrease by 50% and the number of customers will increase by 50%. Frankly, I'm being conservative with my estimations. Have you ever seen the HTS from other financial companies? Woosung paused and looked around the room. He made an eye contact with the IT department leader who had the most decision-making power in this room. He then went on to the next slide. Of course you did. On this page is this week's customer feedback from the website of your competition Woosung Finances. Complaints re, slow speed, 37. Complaints re, frequent errors, 41. Request re, improvement in functions, 30. This isn't just Woosung Finances. Below list is from KY Finances. Complaints re, slow speed, 50. Complaints re, frequent errors, 52. Request re, improvement in functions, 42. And this is from our Nuri Finances. Complaints re, slow speed, 45. Complaints re, frequent errors, 52. Request re, improvement in functions, 53. Nuri Finance's numbers weren't great. Everyone from the company swallowed. This is a problem. If we fix the glitches suggested by our users, we will attract more customers. Woosung looked at the IT department leader Jo Young-suk again. He was looking at the screen intently. If nobody has questions, then that would be the end of my presentation. As soon as Woosung finished, Jo Young-suk admired. "You are amazing." He then ordered Kwok Jungwook. "Assistant Manager Kwok, let's do it." "Yes, sir." It was such a quick acceptance that shocked Yoon Gwon. Jo Young-suk stood up slowly and told Woosung. "Let's have lunch sometime. There are things I would like to discuss with you. And from now on, join General Manager Yoon Gwon for our weekly meeting. You could be very helpful." After making such a shocking decision, Jo Young-suk and the others from Nuri Finances left the room. Park Jun-woo whispered to Kim Yong-gun. "What just happened? Did he get scouted?" "He got asked to join the weekly PM meetings." I think so. Well, he is too good to be stuck in our company. I agree that he is better than me. Perhaps even." He looked at Park Jun-woo. "He's definitely better than me too." Park Jun-woo admitted coolly. Kim Yong-gun now looked towards Yoon Gwon. "Don't you think he's even better than the general manager too?" "I think so." They continued to whisper for a while. When Yoon Gwon came back, he asked. "So they approved our project. What should we do now?" "There is something I need to check first. I also want to make sure you will give Manager Park and Assistant Manager Kim their bonuses." Yoon Gwon opened a drawer and picked up a contract. Woosung, Park Jun-woo, and Kim Yong-gun's names were on it. It stated that once the project completed successfully and Dae-san received the payment, the three will each receive a bonus. Park Jun-woo and Kim Yong-gun were unaware of this, but it still surprised them. As soon as they signed the contract, Woosung started. "We need to expand the existing test codes for the model and controller. But I didn't find a good library for the view." There were 3 parts to the HTS screen. The view was an output representation of information to the users while the model was the central component that managed data. The controller accepted input and converted it to commands for the model or view. They called this the MVC pattern. Woosung's main worry was the view test. Yoon Gwon was also worried about the same thing. "So, I will make it myself." "What?" "I am thinking of creating it into something we can test in the macro format." Microsoft's Visual Studio 2010 allowed UI test, but the most current version available now was Visual Studio 2005, which didn't have this function. Woosung planned on creating this function himself. Yoon Gwon knew what Woosung meant, but he asked again. "So, you'll make it yourself?" "Yes, and while I'm doing this, Manager Park and Assistant Manager Kim should work on the rest of the test codes." "Wait. You can really invent that?" Woosung nodded and started the Visual Studio on his laptop. He then executed a never-seen-before GUI test tool. "I already tried making a login test." Woosung attempted to log in on HTS and clicked the stop button, which made the written codes to appear automatically. "I made it record my screen activities in a macro format. It will then code the input values automatically, which we can use anywhere. I will now try to execute it again." What happened on the screen shocked Yoon Gwon and Park Jun-woo. The manual process of inputting the ID and PW to log in was now happening automatically. Woosung added quickly. "This is an example of how it will work. There is one thing you need to do for me, General Manager." "Me?" "Yes. While we work on TDD, test-driven development, you need to organize this process in a Word document." Was it because Woosung just impressed him with the GUI test tool? Yoon Gwon nodded without a word. From this interaction, it was impossible to tell who was in charge of this department. That document will become the foundation for teaching the other developers our project, so please do your best. Woosung was clearly in charge now. When Woosung suggested that it was time to go home, Park Jun-woo shook his head weakly. You should go home. I still have more work to do. How about you, Assistant Manager Kim? Kim Yong-gun was in the same boat as Park Jun-woo. I think I also have more to finish. Really? You should go home and just finish tomorrow. No, Woosung. You go ahead. He sighed and looked at this screen. Title, HTS Controller Test. Author, Woosung.com. Email protected. This was the beginning of Woosung's code. It was hard to accept that they had to use the newbie's code. Woosung was better than the assistant manager. He was even better than the manager. Woosung also said to Yoon Gi-won. Well then, General Manager, I will see you tomorrow. Oh, okay. Yoon Gi-won also looked like he was struggling. When Woosung peeked at his screen, he saw that Yoon Gi-won was looking up TDD on the internet. Don't work too hard. Go home early. And General Manager. Yoon Gi-won looked up from his computer. When you're done with the report, don't forget to run it by me. You, bastard. Yoon Gi-won exhaled deeply and stopped mid-sentence. I just want to chat with you about Kent Beck's work, one of the original signatories of the Agile Manifesto, and how you feel about it. Arg. Yoon Gi-won groaned as Woosung left the office. Woosung lived about an hour of a subway ride from the office. He zoned out as he waited for his ride. Did I get smarter when I traveled back in time? It wasn't just the coding. His ability to write reports, do presentations, and control the situation all improved. Within the last 2 weeks, I created so many test codes, wrote an impressive report, and created the GUI test plugin. I am so amazing. He knew what the future held, but if he didn't have these skills, it could have been useless, but that wasn't the case. He was more than capable. At this rate, I will be fluent in English soon too. One of the many things Woosung learned was English. He had to read the original report on Bitcoin and the Android specs on the first smartphones. Choi Gichul, you just wait. I will destroy you. Woosung was determined. He promised to never waste a day. He was single-minded. He focused on the book. Sungman's English Grammar for the Beginners. It was a famous textbook for students learning English. Woosung has never finished this book when he was still in school. Woosung opened the book. 3 p.m. every Friday. As soon as the market closed, PMs from the outsourcing companies for Nuri finances gathered around for a meeting. It was to share and discuss all the issues in different departments including the account system, channel system, and the information system. Jo Young-suk, the head of the Nuri Finance's IT department, was in charge of this meeting and any final decisions made here. Jo Young-suk reprimanded Kwon Hyunjian harshly. Manager Kwon. Kwon Hyunjian remained silent. It has only been a few days since we had that big problem, and already we have 10 vox. 10. Do you think this is normal, Manager Kwon? We just launched a new system so we are still in the adjusting period. We are trying our best. Manager, this isn't the place to try. You need to do it right. Kwon Hyunjian reddened. I apologize. Jo Young-suk wasn't finished. He was acting very differently than when he talked to Woosung. It has already been days since we launched this program. The adjustment period should be over by now. You need to do better. The room filled with tension. Yoon Gi-won looked nervous, worried that he might be called up next. If General Manager Yoon is scared of him, Jo Young-suk must be really terrifying. Jo Young-suk. Woosung didn't know him very well. 10 years ago, he was only a newbie at Daesan System. He was never promoted high enough to ever meet Jo Young-suk. This applies to everyone here. And from now on, it won't just be words. Starting today, we are implementing a point system for every VOC. Point system. Also called the reward and punishment system. At first glance, it looked like a fair arrangement, but it only worked to destroy morale and increase unnecessary competition among coworkers. Some groaned in fear. Jo Young-suk continued indifferently. It's not just punishment. Remember the reward part. If you make a good suggestion or apply new ideas effectively and quickly, you can gain positive points to offset any negative points. Renewing outsourcing contracts will depend on these points. This system starts today and Kwak Jung-wook will explain the details to you. Jo Young-suk left the room angrily. Kwon Hyunjian breathed deeply and sat silently. After the meeting, Yoon Gi-won went to talk to Park Jun-woo. Manager Park, how did you do with the VOC on our end? I am done with all of them from last week. How about this week? I had a lot to do this week so, I took care of only the Monday's VOC so far. Yoon Gi-won sighed and replied. Manager Park, didn't I tell you that you need to take care of all VOCs as quickly as possible? He was about to explode. Park Jun-woo stiffened. But I just don't have the time. I need more time to run tests. He then glanced at Woosung. Because of Woosung, there was more to do now. He had to make test codes and also study agile software development. He had more work to do within the same amount of time. He had to prioritize, and one of the things he skipped was taking care of the VOC. Park Jun-woo felt resentful for a moment, but not for long. They said at the meeting that whatever we missed so far will be forgiven. We are given a fresh start so we're okay. And even if we don't complete it, don't worry about it. Yoon Gi-won murmured skeptically. Will you take responsibility if our company doesn't get its contract renewed with Nuri Finances next year? That depends on you, General Manager. I am referring to the reward points that was mentioned earlier. Jo Young-suk said that anyone coming up with and implementing good ideas will gain reward points. So, we'll focus on those points. Woosung was from the future. He knew how HTS was going to improve in the future. He planned to use what he knew. Park Jun-woo and Kim Yong-gun began to worry at what Woosung was suggesting. Woosung. We are already overwhelmed with making the test codes and taking care of the VOC. If you try to start any new project, we won't be able to keep up. Let's just finish what we started first. Park Jun-woo nodded in agreement. Even Yoon Gi-won felt the same. If you are just being overconfident, you should stop now. We know you are talented, but there is always a limit to everything. There were already 4 things Woosung oversaw. Agile Software Development Consulting. Processing VOC. GUI Test Tool. Test Codes. GUI Test Tool alone would take over a month to complete. Test codes and VOC were being taken care of by Park Jun-woo and Kim Yong-gun, but Woosung also helped out whenever he could. At this point, Woosung's hope to make improvements on HTS was an impossible dream. But Woosung felt differently. This is a good way to test how far I can go. He had to know his limit to make an accurate plan for the future. He wanted to see how much he could accomplish. There was only one solution. I can do it by myself. Yoon Gi-won couldn't help but roar. Hey! Didn't you hear a word I said? Worries and concerns are the bugs that eat away the future. Recklessness and persistence can allow you to grow. These are famous sayings from the future. Yoon Gi-won realized he couldn't change Woosung's mind. Well, you never listen so whatever. Do whatever you want. Then I would like to have another meeting with the server team. Do you already know what you will do? He already knew how HTS would change in the future, but he needed to remember the specifics. Well, I know the big picture. I can do parts of it myself but some of it requires new API. If you can arrange a meeting, I will let you know. Yoon Gi-won pointed behind Woosung. There is no need. You can tell him yourself. Kwon Hyunjian was just coming in with the server developer Nam Kyung-sang. They were whispering but Woosung could hear them clearly. I'm sure the problem is on the channel system. I checked the server codes several times. This isn't the first time we got blamed because of the HTS problem. We need to nip this in the bud. Woosung remembered this situation. 10 years ago, this was how he got to know Kwon Hyunjian well and also offered a job at ST Data System. Things will turn out differently this time, Manager Nam. Woosung smiled and greeted the two. Kim Yong-gun frowned when he saw Nam Kyung-sang. Park Jun-woo shut his eyes and sighed. Yoon Gi-won turned away in disgust. Hello, Manager Park. We meet again. Yes. The thing is, we received a few VOC on our end, but they seem like problems related to HTS channel. I really hate to bring this up over and over again, but your mistakes are inconveniencing us. I'll check it right now. Park Jun-woo did a weak reply. Kwon Hyunjian also seemed to feel awkward. He reiterated the situation in a kinder tone. We checked our system multiple times, but we couldn't find anything wrong. We thought it would be smart to cross-check with your system. Please don't take this the wrong way. I am telling you this is definitely an HTS problem. I called up the stochastics, point of a current stock price in relation to its price range over time, graph APIs several times, but nothing is wrong on my end. Well, we aren't sure. No, I'm positive. Nam Kyung-sang gave an adamant reply and looked at Park Jun-woo. I sent the problems to your email, Manager Park. It takes too long to bring up the stochastics graphs. There were also some other problems, but I didn't read them. They are not my problems. There's nothing wrong on our end. They're HTS errors, so you need to fix them right now. His voice was rude and condescending, but Park Jun-woo couldn't fight back. Yoon Gi-won turned around. I checked the email just now. It says there is a delay in bringing up the stochastics monthly graph API. Are you saying that's our problem? I tested it out many times. When I try it on my end, it only takes 2 seconds, so isn't it obvious? Something went wrong on your side. Yoon Gi-won couldn't be rude to people from another company, so he replied respectfully. How? Handling the screen data is HTS territory. Do I have to explain everything to you? Nam Kyung-sang became louder and angrier. Kwon Hyunjian tried to calm him down. Manager Nam, that's enough. I apologize General Manager Yoon. Our company is under a lot of stress. The now aggressive Nam Kyung-sang added. Why should I stop? I need to say this. You all heard about the new point system, right? If your channel problems keep appearing as ours, I won't stay silent. Yoon Gi-won bit his lips. He wanted to say something, but there have been many occasions when problems turned out to be his department's mistakes. Park Jun-woo felt the same. Kim Yong-gun was biting his nails.